your hands together to invite Dr. Sarvjeet Herald, who will speak on the subject. Dr. Sarvjeet, the webinar is yours.
Thank you, Bhuvan. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Sarvjeet Herald, and I'm going to take you through being AI ready. Let me turn on a presentation. So from STEM, we have suddenly moved on to AI. Now, where is that connect and how AI is going to be relevant to, everyone, not just for the educators, not just for the institutions, and also for the kids. So first we need to understand. So my presentation is going to talk about what is AI, some real world applications, 21st century career opportunities. Dr. Mehrotra has already mentioned a lot of opportunities and why be AI ready is important. So, so the way the programming started, coding and AI is part of the national education policy also. So coding and AI is part of national education policy also. We do understand that India is a very diverse country, and a lot of schools in remote areas, you know, are still looking at becoming digital literate, and they need the support of devices. But AI largely relies on the data. The way programming started in the beginning was all based on the rules. If, for example, so I've taken an example of Amazon to help you understand better that in the beginning you would have only able to add an item that this is, so let's say I want to buy soap, I want to buy oil, I want to buy one quantity, two quantity. But over the years this has changed, and using the data, because AI requires data in order to learn and in order to predict something. So, like all of the panelists here or all of the attendees, would have used Amazon, Flipkart at some point of their life and ordered something. They, what would they do is they would, group together a certain class of people and would be able to predict that you might also need, something more, something beyond. You might also want to add shampoo to your cart, right? And they can go further with lots of transactions happening. They can go further and tell you, right, so you bought the soap a month back, it must have been finished, now you want to reorder it, right? So technology plays a very, very important role in our lives. It's not something which is futuristic, it is something which is present today. So AI is not just a concept, AI is something which is happening today. And it refers to the simulation of human intelligence, the intelligence we had, and transferring that to the computers so that computers can think and, mimic like our mind, right? So we are not competing here to become machines. We are competing here to, think more, to do more. And that's where, STEM, which focuses on creativity, innovation, imagination, is really aligned with AI, right? So when we see in our schools, I've been to a lot of schools, we are still at the rule-based learning. We are still at, ordering an item, adding, deleting, subtracting, and that's how, the learning at schools are guiding students. You learn these concepts, you answer these concepts, okay, fine, you move on to the next grade. But where do they think? Is something which we should all ask, is that we should enable our kids to be thinkers of today and of tomorrow. So applications are a lot. When you book a cab, you use technology. If you have to find route for some to go to some place, you use technology. And even when we are doing this conversation, you know I might not be facing the camera, but it is trying to correct my eye movement so that I am looking there, and you're able to we are able to maintain an eye contact, right? So technology is everywhere. Now, one of the most common questions I've been asked is, not all students are going to become creators of technology. Absolutely, we cannot expect everyone to be creating the technology, but we can expect that almost everyone is going to use that technology, right? So my next point, so I wanted to show a video, but however we'll share it later on with you. So we need to understand technology is there. we need people, who also know how to use this technology effectively. And Google is a very good example. So, so Google is a very good example. Google goes to different websites, collects the data, puts it into database, and whenever we have any question, we ask Google. I've heard from a lot of students, a lot of teachers, we can go to Google and we can ask questions, right? However, what question would you ask? That is a question. So even though we have large amount of data with us, how would you use that data to benefit, right? I have skipped the last slide because careers had already been discussed. But if we think, if we ask the right question to the Google, then we can expect to get the right answer, right? So asking the right question is very important. And we want our, not just the creators, but inquiry based learning. So one of the recent projects which I'd been involved with was, a lot of people were saying that, online learning is not effective, right? We should stop online learning and we should go back to the schools, right? And we did a study and we found out, yes, students were spending a lot of time online. However, if with each day 2.3 hours was being spent on learning and 2.7 hours every day was being spent on social media, right? Using various platforms. So what we found out, what kids understood was that, if we spend our time effectively, then we could have made online learning also a productive medium, right? So spending time online and utilizing it for the right thing is important. And that came out of the question which was floating everywhere, whether online education is good or not. So if we ask right questions, we find the right answers, and these students went on to tell everyone. So they are not just stuck to the previous careers we know, right? The careers we know that you can become a scientist, you can become an engineer, right? You can, but they're going to find their own careers, and they're going to find their own careers using data and using technology and using AI in order to create their own future. And this thing is, of course, our government has taken the initiative since last 3 years. AI is become, part of the curriculum, but we need to take it to each and every school in the country so that our kids can do more than creating a technology, but also using it effectively to solve problems, which Apuf mentioned, that it is a team effort, it is a collaborative effort, it requires efficiency. And when they're involved in learning technology like AI, they also understand about putting things in the structure so that when you ask a question, you find the right answer and you are able to find the right career for yourself. So and some of my students, some of our students. So what we understand is that AI is something which is present today, right? Are we need to move on from focusing on marks to actually changing our attitude to understand the concepts and subjects through projects, by inquiring, by asking questions. Why are we learning this? If I do it differently, how is it going to affect? And because we are dealing with technology, we are dealing with AI, so there are a lot of ethical implications also, whether something is right to pursue or something is not right. So these boundaries, ethical boundaries, we have to decide, and we need to move on from textbooks to involve the society at large. And some of my students, they have, some of the RoboGenius students, they have worked on research projects. So Vrinda, for example, looked at, if you, because on internet we talk to strangers, we do transactions among strangers, we have not met face to face. How can you build the trust among strangers? So Vivan, for example, have looked on, how does technology, how does AI and mechanical engineering work together? And Dhruv did a research project on improving the making a smart medical intervention system. And these students are some of these top institutions around the world, and they are on a journey to create their own careers, to create their own paths. Thank you so much, everyone.